So let us welcome the one, the only, Andy Offutt Irwin.
You were so awful to Joyce. You were just awful. And you took so much. I don't know if you understand the subtleties of what these women do and the teeny details that they go to. For example, what Liz has been snacking on. And this is just to give her high visibility fingers. The minute details that they go through, they're not just wearing black, but we're grateful. When I was a kid, the most important, the last, well, okay, let me start over. The last good day of summer vacation is not the best day. The last good day of summer vacation is the next to the last day of summer vacation. Because the last day of summer vacation is a school night. Right, y'all? Nothing kills fun faster than it's a school night. Testify? So they're too old. They don't remember. Yeah. It is the last good day, the next to the last day of the summer vacation. And my friend Johnny had come over to our house, and he knocked on our screened-in back porch made out of Jell-O. It wasn't really Jell-O, but it was old rotten wood, so when you knocked on it, pat, 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 the whole thing went boo. And my mama got to the door before I had a chance to, and he said, "Hey, Miss Tootsie," that's my mama's name. Good. I'm in the South. Nobody's laughing. Good. And my mama said, "Oh, hey, Johnny, Andy can't play today. We're going to go shopping for new clothes." I said, "Going shopping for new clothes from the next to the last day of summer vacation? There is no justice." My mama said, "Go change." Ask me how old I am. I'm so old that when we went shopping for new clothes, I had to dress up. Right? That's redundant, right? Yes, ma'am, I see that, yeah. So the way I figure it, when you walk in the store, you should just wear nothing and say, "Fix it." The story contains brief nudity. And so I had on the little, the blazer with the little crest that didn't mean anything, the clip-on tie, and we went to the Belk, and I say this every once in a while, Belk, if you're not from the South, that's where old people buy their clothes. Right? And we walk into Belk, and the reason that I have to dress up is because my mama's going to run into people before her generation, and they're going to say that stupid stuff that grown-ups say to children. "Is this Andy? You're growing up. Why are you growing up? You've gotten so big. You've gotten so big. Why'd you get so big?" "Well, you haven't seen me since you were 5, and I'm 8 now, so if I hadn't grown, that'd be weird." And we bought a stack of clothes. Of course, I had to get my blue jeans, really cuffed up because, by May, they'd be like this. And then after we went shopping, my mama said, "Guess what we're going to do?" Children, that's called positive reinforcement. They're using it against you. Beware. I said, "Where are we going to go? What are we going to do, Mama?" She says, "We're going to go to Mrs. Jones's house, and you get to see her daughter, Kay, your good friend." Kay Jones was not my friend. Kay Jones was that girl all through school. "Mrs. Wiggins." Andy's got bubble gum wrapped around his head again. "Mrs. Wiggins." Andy won't quit wiggling his leg. It's distracting me from my work. I don't think I'm going to get into a good college. "Mrs. Wiggins." We didn't have a fire drill yesterday. That was Andy. They accused me of pulling the fire alarm, but I was the fire alarm. We got to Mrs. Jones's house and Kay's house. They had a real electric doorbell. We have a cowbell from my mama's college days hanging from a sconce. That's how you gained entry to my house. Still there. Because when my mom died, I lost the toss and got the house. Ding dong. Kay answered the door. She's wearing a pink Kremlin dress. She's got Mary Jane's shoes. She's got ruffles and lace on her socks. What is the point? And she said, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Irwin. Hello, Andy. Welcome to our home." And we walked in. We had luncheon, y'all, luncheon. That means we had pimento cheese sandwiches with the crust cut off. That makes it fancy. And finally, Mrs. Jones said, Kay, why don't you take Andy into your room and show him your new aquarium? All right, Mother, come with me, Andy. We walked in, pink, 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 pink. It looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol had exploded all over the place. Pink shag carpet, My Little Pony ceiling fan. Wah, 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 wah. In one corner was her Barbie world, with the mansion, the motorhomes, Mercedes convertible, and the good-looking boyfriend with a sweater on his neck. But y'all, in the other corner, she had her very own 20-gallon aquarium. Man, it was beautiful. And those fish were darting around. I just looked at that aquarium. I loved that aquarium. So, those fish were darting around. Kay was playing with Barbie and Ken. Andy's an ugly boy, isn't he, Ken? Yes, Barbie. I love you, Ken. I love you, Barbie. It was horrible! But I just watched the fish. I watched those fish, and those fish looked nervous. Okay, the next time you look in an aquarium, look to the sides. You'll see a mirror image, right? So I thought the fish saw a mirror, but they just fish. They don't know what a mirror is, so everywhere they go, they think it's somebody who looks just like them is about to run into them. They be going, hey, watch where you're going. What do you want with me? But the most pathetic fish was the algae-eating sucker fish adhered to the tank by itself. That ain't no way to live, y'all. So I just watched the fish. Finally, my mama came in. My mama said, Andy, it's time to go. Say thank you for having me today, Kay. I've had a lovely time. And I'm not lovely right time. Yeah, you know that one, right? Yeah. Kay's mama said, Kay, say thank you for coming today, Andy. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming today, Andy. Bye-bye. My mama and I walked out of there. I love that aquarium. I started to ask my mama for an aquarium just like that one in a voice that some people would call whining. Now, young people, someday you'll have children around your own ankles. And you'll want to stop the whining. Isn't that right, grown-ups? Yeah, all right. All right, here's the thing. My mama taught me by example how to stop the whining. In order to stop whining, you must take away all hope. So like, can we get an aquarium? No. Kay's mama gave her an aquarium. Kay's mama's a better parent. I got nothing, man. We got home. Johnny was making lazy figure eights in front of our driveway on his bicycle. My mama said, go change clothes and play with Johnny. I said, yes. So I went on to put on my play clothes while I was gone. Johnny said, Miss Tootsie, may Andy and I go wading in the creek? My mama said, sure. Change shoes. Now, in order to go wading in the creek, you had some sharp rocks. I had to take off my current shoes. My current shoes are the shoes I can wear to school. Those are my current shoes. Take those off, put on last year's shoes. They're a little small, they have holes in them, but I'm allowed to wear them in the trickling water. Those are my current shoes. So I took off my current shoes and put on my current shoes, and we went down to the creek. Splash. Johnny said, dude, it's the next to the last day of summer vacation. I said, I know. He said, this is the last good day. I said, I know. He said, we must savor this day. Everybody say savor. Savor. That's our vocabulary word, the first big one, boys and girls. It's an important one. Young people, if you learn to savor things when you're a kid, you'll know how to savor things when you're a grown-up. And when you know how to savor things when you're a grown-up, the more childlike your adulthood will be. Savor. Say it again. I said, Johnny, what are we going to do to savor today? He says, let's find out where the creek comes from. I said, that's crazy talk. So we started, walking upstream. That means the water's coming towards us. We started to hike and wade upstream. We went under Brookwood Circle Bridge. Splash, splash, splash. We went through the great kudzu cave behind the American Legion Hall. Splash, splash, splash. We came to Academy Springs Pond, about half the size of this tent. We knew this pond. Johnny said, let's catch tadpoles. I said, of course. So we went to the trash can, which is Georgia for garbage can. We pulled out 2 paper cups, and we went to the water's edge, and of course, heat rises, the sun's from above. Where it's shallow, the tadpoles like it a little better because they're cold-blooded. I think is a new term. We're not supposed to say cold-blooded anymore because they're offended by it. And I was supposed to look it up, but I forgot. Anyway, and we just reached in and caught him. Didn't really sound like that, but I like doing it. And eventually we heard this sound. That was my mama blowing her police whistle. That means we had 20 minutes to get home. That's how she summoned us home in the tradition of my people. Johnny said, "That's your mama's whistle. We got to go." I said, "I know." He said, "How many tadpoles do you have?" I said, "I have 3. Johnny said, "I have 5. I have bested you. I am the superior human being." Johnny was catch and release, so he let his tadpoles go, but I carried mine home because I was thinking about the aquarium. We got home. I put the tadpoles on the screened-in back porch. I went into my room to look for something. My mama said, "You just got back from the creek. Take a shower." And I went to the bathroom to take a shower, but I couldn't take a shower because my sister Squiffy was on the telephone. Boys and girls, in the before time, the telephone was tied to the kitchen wall. In the before time. And if you wanted a private phone conversation, you had to go to Mr. Callahan's 10-cent store. You had to get a 30-foot phone cord. You had to run it through the kitchen, into the hallway, under the bathroom door. You had to lock the bathroom door. And my sister Squiffy was always doing that. Yes, we only had one bathroom, and she was always doing, she was talking to her friend, Nancy. "I think Ricky's cute. Do you think Ricky's cute? I think Ricky's cute. I hope he asks me to the movies because I think he's cute." So I couldn't get into the bathroom, so I went into the bedroom to look for something to put my tadpoles in. Meanwhile, my mama was coming out of the laundry room with a load of wet clothes on her way outside to use our solar and wind-powered clothes dryer. She saw the cup full of tadpoles, and she lovingly called me to her. "Andy!" I walked out of there. She pointed at the cup full of tadpoles, and she asked me a ridiculous grown-up question. Young folks, do the grown-ups in your life ask you ridiculous grown-up questions? Yes. Ridiculous grown-up kid entrapment questions? Say it yes loud. All right. Here's your free advice. Just answer the question. Do not add commentary. That will increase the unrest. My mama pointed at the cup full of tadpoles, and she asked me, "What is that?" I said, "It's a cup full of tadpoles." She said, "I know that." And then she asked me another one. "What are you going to do with that cup full of tadpoles?" Well, I said, "I'm going to keep them." She went, "What? Do you mean you think we can keep these wild animals in our home, but we don't have any place to put them?" And then I saw her eyes light up. I can't whistle. And she said, "Hachi-chachi." And when my mama said hachi-chachi, it was good news. And she went into the laundry room of high-stakes Jenga. You know the game Jenga? If it falls, you lose. If I went in there, something would fall and I would lose. My mama had bud vase collections she liked and pretty jars. Kids, do your parents have pretty things they're going to use someday, like pretty glass things they're going to use someday? Yeah, you'll be throwing that stuff out when you're like 63. I heard crash, crash, cuss, crash. I got to just tell you, I was at a school a few weeks ago, and I said crash, crash, cuss, crash, and I saw a teacher go, and later she goes, "I just don't think that was necessary to say cuss. We're just trying to get the children away from that." I said, "Well, I didn't cuss. I said cuss." "That's right. And that's right. And I just don't see why we have, and besides, that's slang. We prefer, if you have to say it, at least say curse." I said, "If I ain't supposed to do it, I can call it what I want." Another school I'm not going back to. And well, my mama went in there and she found, man, no kidding y'all, it was a 5-gallon pickle jar. Literally, and I do not throw around the word literally. It was from my granddaddy's country store. It had a metal lid, had a metal bail handle, a wooden grip. It had giant magnifying glasses embossed on the sides to make giant pickles look bigger. My mama said, go fill this up with creek water. I said, why can't we just use the hose? She said, no, the hose has chlorine and fluoride and stuff like that. So this proved again my mama didn't care if I lived or died. I'm a little kid running down a hill with a big glass jar. La, 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 la. I filled it about 2/3. While I was gone, she took the lid, she turned the lid upside down, she took an ice pick, she put holes in the lid with the ice pick. That's what your great-grandparents used to clean the freezer with. And she said, put the tadpoles in, bloop, bloop, bloop. I put the tadpoles in, they settled on the bottom. They seemed to be content. They seemed to be going, dude, this is nice. I love the light in here. The pond is so dingy. She put the lid on the jar. She took a drinking straw. I know, an evil drinking straw. She taped one end of the drinking straw in the middle of the lid. On the other end of the drinking straw, she hung our little pet parakeet bird's little bell. Our little pet parakeet bird did not need the bell anymore. No, we had a kitty cat. We had to keep a lid on the jar because we had a kitty cat named Bootsy. Bootsy would find these tadpoles to be a delicacy. Do you know what a delicacy is, boys and girls? It's something gross other people eat. And then she hung the little pet parakeet bird. The parakeet bird did not need the bell anymore because of Bootsy. Animals were harmed in the making of this story. And she said, all right, here's the deal. When the tadpoles ring the bell, they want to go to the creek. I said, what? She said, when the tadpoles ring the bell, they want to go to the creek. I said, what? She said, you understand later. So every day, Johnny and I rode our bikes to school without helmets because our parents didn't care. We rode our bikes home. Johnny and I did our homework, and then we watched the tadpoles. Watching tadpoles. This is the tadpole watching portion of the story. And then my Aunt Marguerite came over. Do y'all have a grown-up that messes with you? Yeah? Says things to you that's not true because you're young and impressionable and they think it's funny? Yeah. That was my Aunt Marguerite, you know. Yeah, she would come over. I did a gig with Kuniko, who's a beautiful storyteller from Japan. I did a gig with her near Philadelphia this summer. She said, she's from Osaka. She said there's a word for when people enter the home in Japan when they're not family members, but they're not knocking. And she said there's no English equivalent. And I said, oh, yes, there is. And that word is woohoo. And Marguerite dropped in. She said, oh, what are you boys doing? We said, we're watching our tadpoles. Oh, that's lovely. Watching tadpoles instead of that television. I'm so proud. And what's going to happen to your tadpoles? They're going to turn into? How long's it going to take them to turn into frogs? We didn't have Google. We didn't know anything. So I said, I don't know. Well, you can have instant frogs right this second if you want to. What? Yes, think about it. Now, what do frogs have that tadpoles don't have? That's right, y'all, they have. And what do tadpoles have that frogs don't have? That's right. All you have to do is take your tadpole, shove the tail in, and watch the legs pop right out. You ever tried to shove a tail into a tadpole? Tadpole be going, ew, what? Stop. My mama came in. Marguerite, leave those boys alone. I'm just trying to help the young people. They're our future. And of course, eventually, the eyeballs went up to the top of the head. And the tadpoles turned into. And then they started going, ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. The frogs were jumping in the jar, hitting the lid, wiggling the straw, and ringing the bell. So I went to the phone to call Johnny. Y'all wouldn't make it. Y'all would blow up. What happened to her? Say Chinese, be my phone, and she blew up. Johnny always answered the phone like this. Speak to me. I said, it's time. Johnny said, I understand. He came over on his bicycle. It was such an important event, y'all. Johnny and I had that jar together. We were walking down to the creek. It was so important that my mama pulled out the Kodak Instamatic camera. Okay, that's not as funny as I thought. So we poured the frogs in, and that night I heard. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, I missed my frogs. That summer, we went on vacation to Daytona Beach on the way down, on the way back, actually, after we had gone to Daytona when my father would disappear at night. I say, "Where's Dad going?" My mom would say, "Your father's gone to High Life." When I was a little bitty kid, I thought it meant like Miller High Life, the champagne, like High Life. And then I realized when I was older that it was not High Life, but High Life, the pari-mutuel game with, rackets. And then when I got older, once again, I realized I was right the first time. And on the way back, we'd go to Marine Land. This was before there was SeaWorld, and it was just essentially a giant tank, and they had 2 dolphins in the tank, and there would be a lady in a bathing suit on like a high diving board without no diving board, and she'd have a dead mullet fish, and she took a school bell going clanka, 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 and the dolphins would come, and take the fish, and they do tricks and stuff. So I figured I could do the same thing. I was going to do the same thing with my frogs. I had trained them, after all. When I rang the bell, they would come and take the food. Every time I took off the lid, they'd come and take the food. I had trained my tadpoles, then I can certainly train my frogs. So what do frogs eat? Right, so I needed to get some flies, and we had this old Dayton window fan in the kitchen, and they would dare each other to come through the blades. Go, phew, phew. Yeah, some of them would make it slice, and I caught him with my left hand. I got to pick it up. I caught him with my left hand because I threw right-handed when I caught flies playing outfield. And then I needed to put the flies to sleep, and every science teacher in the country knows how to put flies to sleep. I'll lay them on their back, and I rub their bellies. And I tie a little string under the flies. I liberated one of my sister's Barbies. Yes, and Barbies will be in every story this weekend. And I tied the Barbies the flies to Barbie's hand. I took my hook and ladder truck down to the creek, my big Tonka truck. This is back when those toys were made of a material called metal. And I put Barbie up on the truck, and I took the little bell, like ding-a-ding-a-ding-a. Well, the frogs knew that sound. That's when they get fed. So they came, and they took the flies. And then I charged my friends $0.25 apiece to have Andy's Wild Amphibian show. It was wonderful. And then I had one frog that followed me home. He could do tricks. He could do half gainer. Okay, his splash was kind of sloppy. It wasn't ripping the water but it was still impressive, But he would follow me home after my mama called me in. He'd be talking to me the whole time. I named him Jeremiah. But I could not comprehend his speech. Three people got that one. And thanks, man. And then, so this particular time, Squiffy was in the bathroom, and she was, I think Ricky's cute. Do you think Ricky's cute? This is going to be a dance. I think Ricky's cute. And I was doing my homework, and Jeremiah, frogs have to have water, and he knew that the spigot of our tub, dripped. So he started knocking on the bathroom door like you do. Hop, 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 boom. Hop, 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 boom. My mama said, "Quit knocking on the door." I said, "I'm not knocking on the door." "Yes, you are." "No, it's not. It's Jeremiah." "No, it's not. It's you." "No, it's not me. It's Jeremiah." Hop, 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 boom. And then he took like a running, hopping start, as it were. And hop, 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 hop. And she opened the door on her face. Then she took my toothbrush and pried him off. And flushed. I could hear him screaming. Whoa. "You killed my frog! Your frog attacked me! You killed my frog!" My mama came in and said, "What is going on?" "She killed my frog! His frog attacked me!" My mama said, "That's it. No more talking on the phone in the bathroom. No more frog show." The authorities said, "Shut me down." Some people don't understand circus folk. That Saturday, my mama got in the car to go to the grocery store. She said, do the chores, clean the gutters. So I put the ladder up against the house. I saw her drive away. If anything happened to me, she didn't want to be around. And I'm cleaning the gutters. And I hear,
I think you're just cute. Do you think you're just cute? I think you're just cute.
young people, there's a pipe on top of your house. It's white. It's called a soil stack. Can you say soil stack? We had an old 1930s toilet. It would kind of like leak and go down, and the air hose would expose. The soil stack goes right through the sewer because nature abhors a vacuum, and it connects. It's just like a drinking straw. If you lift your finger, that's how your toilet works. So any sound made in the bathroom, I heard from the roof. Ergo, any sound I made into that pipe would come out of the toilet. So I just went,
I think you're just cute. Do you think it's...
and I just went,
Squiffy, you killed me. This is Jeremiah.
ah! You ever tried to flush, pull up your pants, hang up the phone, run out of the house at the same time? It was so satisfying seeing the toilet paper streaming out. Ah! Revenge. Bye, y'all.